the rise in postnatal depression has been like fucking out the gate.
Welcome to Focus Focus. Voices leading change.
But it was like Spice Girls Impulse.
Yes.
We were like smoking high flyers.
Yeah, trying to mask the smell, eh? And then they'd walk back into class and you're like, bro, you ain't fooling anyone, man.
It was me and Motherhood College with walks. Our maths teacher, he was the best, but he was the worst. And it would be like, I've got my period. I'm going to the toilet. Go and have a smoke, spray Spice Girls Impulse, come back. Win a peanut slab. Bingo.
Man,
bingo.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, and you're right, it is tied back to something's triggered through that.
Yep.
Brain
is a beast. I've learned so much on these channels from people. It is out the gate.
And it's worth talking through some of that stuff. I mean, and you know what, Krystine, like what we see in the parenting realms, especially since COVID.
Yeah.
The anxiety levels, which I'm sure you would have experienced talking to and on people on your channel, like it has been, and what we're seeing, especially for mums, you know, like the rise in postnatal depression has been like fucking out the gate.
Sam literally witnessed me go through postnatal depression when you guys were in Fiji.
Oh,
so you probably wouldn't have known at the time, but I was really ill when Shane was away. And I think he came back and I had lost a lot of weight. And I remember him coming into the airport with Sam and we got in the car and he was like, how much do you weigh? And you guys have been gone for a week or something. And I had begged for help. I went to because I was not sleeping. I was not eating. I think social media as well as not a good thing. I'll talk to you about that soon. But I was so unwell and I'd gone to the doctor and they had said to me, oh, you're a mum. You've got a baby.
Yes.
That's what happens. You're tired.
Yeah.
And Riley had silent reflux. He was sleeping about 20 minutes at a time. And no one would listen.
Yeah.
Like, I was so ill. I was ill.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I think just because Courtney had it, certainly not as bad. Well, I'm not going to say that. Sorry. She certainly had it with Marlo.
Yeah.
Because it was like she had the perfect pregnancy. Basically, quit work, finished work on the Friday, gave birth on the Monday.
Yeah.
You know, no illness, no real cravings, no real, and she had a really great job. And then, I just remember the kind of off the cliff.
Yep. But you're supposed to just get on with it.
Yeah.
Our grandmothers got on with it. No, they didn't. They were struggling.
And it was, I think, in that situation, because I had come from being a teenage dad with my boy and had never been full-time with him, but would have loved to have been full-time with him.
Yeah.
So I stepped in and filled that void massively because I was like, I'm keen to take her, and I thought that it was you needed time away from the kid.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I thought they were trying to steal my kid from me. There was. I remember one day very clearly because the doctors had said to me, you need to stop breastfeeding because I was so far gone. And I remember holding him in the corner of his bedroom and Shane's mum was in there and I was like, you guys are trying to take my baby. You were trying to take him, just leave me. And there wasn't really anything that anyone could do, but you just needed that support. But I just constantly was being told it was the baby blues and I was just tired and so many people tried to step in and help. But it's the external pressure of you're just supposed to do it or you're failing. And then we get in our heads.
You're a mum, come on.
I have to have this baby. If I hand this baby over and look after myself, then I'm failing because mums are supposed to just get on and do it. And now, if I'd known back then, like what I know now, I think.
The ECE sector, because it's generally full of mums,
they're
very aware.
Yeah.
But they don't have the toolkit.
Nope.
Because every individual case presents differently. But one common theme is they don't want to leave their child there.
Nope.
And they're forced, because they're either going to go back to, and this is the downside of Papa More, is because the housing prices are ridiculous. It's forced people into a lifestyle that they don't really want.
Yeah.
They want children, they want house, they want the car, they want this. But then when it comes down to it, I'm sure they'd sell the house, sell the car, just to stay with their kids. And even for us, we've said like, and I've said this on multiple times on podcasts, if parents could stay home with their kids, they would. They actually would. There wouldn't be a childcare industry.
No.
But they can't.
You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
Yes. And there are lots of women who have got great careers, especially here.
Yeah.
Like horticulture and primary industries around here have driven a lot of female careers because it's not physical. It's not a physical job where you're out. There's a lot of media marketing and all those logistics, all those. And there's some people in our centres that are like we've got the head of HR for Zero. She's one of our parents.
Oh, get
Natasha.
out.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like there's some real high level people in the careers that they've got really powerful.
Yeah.
But sometimes they just want to resort back to just, I'd sell all that if I could just be at home. But that's the reality.
100%.
It's not.
And there's just there's so many more pressures in the world now. Like literally, the reason that I started my page was because I was a young mum. I had my daughters, my first one when I was 21 and then my second one when I was 22.
Yes.
And it felt easy at the time.
Yes.
So easy. I just parented with my gut. There was no one telling me what to do. There was no social media whatsoever. We had MSN. That was it.
MSN Messenger. Yeah. Like, some random person.
ASL. And like my midwife would tell me what to do and then they were gone and you just followed your gut. And then it was like 9 years later when I met Shane and had Carter, and I remember being at home and, you know, whereas I used to like breastfeed the girls or whatever and just watch trashy TV, this time I'm scrolling.
Yeah.
And Instagram's here now and Facebook's here now and I can see all these perfect parents and I can see all these perfect Instagram.
So what was the window between your first children and then what was that time in the decade? What was your time frame there? 2000 what to what?
Oh.
Were you seeing, because social media comes on, because I wasn't an early adopter for social media. I was like, this is weird. Me sharing. Yeah. I don't share with people anyway.
So when I had Natalia, my oldest, and she is 17 now, there was Facebook had just started.
So what is that?
But it wasn't what it is now.
Is that like
She was born in 2008.
So hang on. So is that when Facebook came out?
I'm not sure. We can look it up.
Is we are on
2000 and so there was Facebook, but it was not. There we go.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
okay.
I was a late adopter as well.
See, I didn't get on Facebook till like 2014.
Oh yeah, I remember having it, but I never did anything on it.
Yeah.
It was just literally chatting to people, I think, at that stage.
Right.
So you had it, but it wasn't what it is today. There was definitely no Instagram, was there?
So no, there wasn't. No, because I remember the advent of Instagram coming when the only reason I went on to Facebook was because I had joined a CrossFit gym and they communicated on Facebook groups.
Yeah.
And I was like, why can't you just, send out one of those email things?
Yeah. Post me a letter.
Yeah. Well, I'm just up the road, bro. Drop the flyer in my letterbox,
Fax me.
I check it every day.
Send a fax.
But it is when we're looking at that role as a parent, and like even my son, I was probably some of the worst times of my life because his mother and I were scrapping.
Yeah.
Thank God we didn't have social media.
Oh my God, I know, right?
Because we hated each other.
Yeah.
I can only imagine the vitriol that we could have posted about one another.
Use it to take each other down.
Yep, that he would have had to live. He could go back and see that now.
Yeah.
The absolute hate.
Yeah.
And thank God we didn't have that. But that is actually a real thing.
Yeah.
Now
it's you have like this footprint now forever. There's so much stuff, and I've learned the hard way as well. I've taken my kids off social media. My girls, now that they're older, we include them a little bit in different things they want to, but I've had to sit down and go, here's what people can do with your image.
Yes.
If you do this, it's online forever. If you have future employers, they can find you and they can see what you're up to. And that was my biggest fear going back to work. And I work at a council. I was like, these guys can sit, I've half naked, shared my body online and played with my donut belly and done all sorts. I'm just lucky they didn't care. But it's everything is there forever. And that's it.
If we swing back round to you know, your foray into socials.
Yeah.
Because I remember it was hilarious. I actually followed more because Shane's commentary on some of your posts was hilarious. Just purely because I knew him.
Yeah.
And even going back to even Fiji, because I was an early riser, I remember walking around the streets of Suva with him for a bit, you know, and just cracking up at some of the stuff. But it's become a tool of communication for positives too.
Yeah.
And that's the real life part.
Yeah.
Has actually been part of the story of actually giving a platform to being a mum and the struggles.
Yeah. So what happened was I was in a Jew group, like a Jew April group with my oldest son, and I found so much safety in that group because while I was seeing all these things online and all of a sudden had all these pressures I'd never had before. Am I supposed to be doing this? Am I supposed to be doing that? Oh my gosh, look at that person. She's coping. She's stunning. She's skinny. She's bounced back, like all this kind of stuff. And then I started posting videos into that private group of the realities. Like I'd left my son for the first time and gone to Palmy and I was crying and I needed to get home and I was pumping like it was the 10 waves of emotion, and they were like, we need to share this. I want to be able to share this. And it was relating to each other. And I just found it so funny that I had this quiet, safe space, but why wasn't the world a safe space? So it was like, why can we say all these things in here, but it's almost like we're hidden. Like we as mothers are supposed to behave a certain way. We're supposed to cope a certain way. We're supposed to do a certain way. But behind closed doors, we're all like, like this is what we're doing.
Yes.
So when I brought it out into the world, it was a huge mix of emotions. It took off. Everyone was like, yes, that's what it's like. But we also had people that were like, no, you're not supposed to behave like that. Put it away. And I remember saying to Shane so many times, just crying, like, I'm harmless. I'm not trying to hurt anyone. And these people are being I was being told to kill myself and all sorts of stuff. And I had lost so much hair from pregnancy, and I had people going, your hair, like, fix your hair, you're a mess. And then I had other people going, oh my gosh, yes, the hair loss is real. No one talks about it. And it's just all those, I can't even tell you. It wasn't even what was happening publicly online that I loved. It was the messages in the background. I can't tell you how many women I've worked with getting out of abusive homes and just talking to them at 10 o'clock in the night, video calling them, like making a plan to get out. How many women are just like, I thought I was alone. I thought I was failing. And I know that I'm not now, kind of thing, and having this safe space, and it's all we've ever wanted is a safe space. And while everyone's like, our grandparents just got on with it, like they were hiding vodka behind the couch, my dude. They were struggling.
And that's it's funny that we still find a rhetoric of, our grandparents got on with it, because actually and don't get me wrong, I do believe my parents did their best based on what they had.
With the tools that you've got, we all
and the
have.
knowledge that they had. You know, like, remember, they justified violence.
Yes.
You know, and violence was actually a justified aggregated means across the country.
Yes.
You got your ass whipped by anyone in the community.
We all know about phone books. You use a phone book, it doesn't leave a mark.
Yes. We literally came through an era where community violence was a thing, where, like, my mum would literally say, if he plays up, boot his ass.
Jug cord, wooden spoon, phone book, no one bats an eye. It's funny because it's so normalized. Like, and that's what it was.
And if you've been hit with I laugh about it now.
Yeah.
You know, the jug cord. But, bro, that shit hurt.
Yes.
Like, the leverage on that thing with the hard bit that went into the jug. Like, and sometimes they forgot and hit you with the plug end.
Yeah.
like the actual prongs.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. We laugh about it now, but actually, I wouldn't even dare do that to my children.
No.
Let alone even threaten it.
No.
And when we talk through, our grandparents got through it. Yeah. But we're still now combating.
Yeah.
Myself. I love my mum, but I have to catch my mum and how I behave towards my kids. You know, I have to, not this staunch, like, get up, like, oh, you be grateful for what you have, blah, 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 blah. It's a terrible trait in me.
Yeah. So my mum and I, we have had quite the journey together, and we're in a great place now, but it's kind of been like that as well. We have very different styles of parenting, and she's kind of on my end of everything now because, everyone got on with it. But like, look at the increase in mental health. Look how many people are fighting just to get some help with their mental health. And while we don't know what it's going to look like in the future, I think that our children, now that I've got teenagers, they're different. They stand up for themselves, the confidence that they've got. My daughter broke up with her boyfriend a few weeks ago, and I read a message to Sam before, and she just said to him, what was it? I don't have time for this. Like, this is toxic. You need to sort yourself out. Yeah. And we would never have. We would have just dealt with that kind of stuff. And I feel like we've got a generation of people coming through that have the confidence to stand up and go, what you're doing is hurting me and it's affecting me in a negative way. And it's such a beautiful thing to watch because we didn't have that. It was normalized.
Yes. And the ability for young people, like even my own boy, I remember Cortez calling me and he'd had an argument, and I think he's only about 21 or 20 at this time. And he calls me and he's had an argument. Can I come pick him up? So I go and pick him up. And he jumps in the car, and of course I'm like, it's quiet. And I'm like, oh, you're good? And he's like, oh, fuck, man, Dad, like, why do I do this? And I was like, do what? And he's like, oh, man, I always blow it. I always blow up. I always, he's like, I just can't control myself. And I'm like, looking at him, and he's like, I always do this. And I'm like, do what? And he's like, I always blow up. And I'm like, I'm just not good enough. And I was like, boy, at 20, I was not saying that. I was blaming the other person. I was like, bro, you're way ahead of me.
They're so self-aware these days.
And his awareness on those scenarios, and him and I are very, very similar in terms of our brains. But to hear a young man taking ownership versus pointing fingers is as far away from toxicity.
That would have never happened 10, 20 years ago.
No.
Not at all. I'm an alpha. Oh, wow. That's how I behave.
Yeah. And I think what you're talking to with a platform like yourself, where we're giving people another version of what normal could be, is the power of, dare I say, social media. I know it's a very hotly contested thing.
Love-hate relationship.
Yeah. And you can see I do support what people are saying about the 16 and under. Like, I'm an advocate for that because I see firsthand where I see firsthand is the damage on adults.
Yep.
See, Cortez grew up and his social media usage was very low. He's 26 now. They use it
different to us, though.
Yes. But I see the adults, like, we've literally had some parents talking to us about their children being behind because of what they've seen on social media. Yeah. And I'm like, your child's 9 months old. like you're doing a great job.
Yes.
Keep it up. Like, this child is settled and happy and loves coming here and eats all their food, and sometimes they do pinch people or bite them, but that's because I can't tell you to get out of the way.
I want to bite people too. It's just what we do. But also how much I can control what you guys see.
Yes.
And that's what you've got to remember is what you're seeing isn't real.
Yeah.
Like, it might be real, but it's not the full story. You have no idea. When I had postnatal depression, I lost about 30 kgs from not eating. I was unwell. I went into a psychosis. But I told everyone I was doing weightlifting. I was training. I was eating well. I had a fitness group, and I was telling everyone that I was living this really healthy lifestyle and you should do this. And everyone thought I was doing amazing. And that was a complete lie. Like, it was all a lie. I was not going to tell people I was mentally unwell at the time. And I wish I had. I wish I had just said I'm not okay. But that was a complete lie. And people followed up, and they were asking me for workouts, and I was giving them to them. I was doing all these at home body weight workouts, like, do this for a week. Here's a challenge I've set. I've been doing it. I couldn't move my body. I was undernourished. I was underslept. I was unwell. It's all a lie. But everyone from the outside was like, she's doing amazing. She's smashing it. She's got all these kids. It's not always real.
So the pivot into utilising your platform and then your comedic abilities, which has been a deep dive into some of those elements.
What a journey.
Yeah. Do you know what? I love it. Like I was saying, like I've been trying to enroll in a stand-up comedy course myself to try and test.
You don't need a course.
yeah.
Who the hell does a course? That is a money-making scam.
I know. I actually saw it. No,
that is a money-making scam.
Well, the only reason I'd never thought of it, and then I saw Jimmy Carr, the very famous stand-up comedian. He was running something, and I was like, of course, I tried to like enroll for his thing, but he had to be in the face in the UK every week, so I was like, well, I can't afford the time or the travel. But the element of comedy and humour is not being used to displace the damage of what mums are going to, but it does create a lightheartedness to bring people in, which I think you've done really well.
If you had been with us this week, every night, like, this fills my cup. We have, and it's just storytelling, and it's the way you tell it. And you're a great storyteller. Like, honestly, you would be great. We get a room full of like 100 women, and it's just the best time. And it's everyone coming up afterwards, and they're like, oh my gosh, like, I thought it was just me. Like, you know, I dump vagina bath water too. It's just storytelling, and that's all comedy is people relating to something, and it's funny because they relate to it. And
I think though, this is what I admire. Mums are superhuman.
Yeah,
they go through stuff often internally because, and I'm going to out some people on this. Men struggle so much that the woman will put their shit to the side to try and help.
Yep.
That's what will happen. And Courtney's done this for me. You know, there's been times where I've struggled with worth and am I good enough, or that, you know, can I actually do what I'm saying I'm doing, or blah blah blah. And Courtney's struggling too, but she's just put it to the side. And I've always admired the strength of mums, females in those spaces, because when you see someone stand up and talk to that, exactly some of the elements you're talking to, and then they can say, oh, thank God. Okay, it's not just me who's having to prop up her husband all the time or while they're going through their own stuff.
But we need guys to do the same thing. So I've had this conversation so many times, because obviously I go online and I complain a lot, but it's a lot of complaining.
Yeah.
It's complaining.
Yes. yes.
It's going into my safe space and going, I'm struggling with this too. Yeah. Like, you can struggle with it. It's fine. And then I will have a lot of men come in and go, women are always complaining. Like, we just get on with it. We keep it to ourselves. And I've got no shame now in coming back and going, and who's got the highest suicide rate?
Yes. Yeah, 100%. 100%.
We are out here.
3 out of 4 suicides are men.
Yeah. We're out here working together to prop each other up and go, yep, there's a struggle. We're all in the same struggle. Let's help each other out. and we're talking about it, we're processing it, we're working through it, and we're making sure that everyone feels seen, there is no strength in shutting the fuck up and sitting down. Like, you need to be able to go, this is hard, I'm struggling, like, as a man.
And the worth conversation and just hearing what you're saying about your mum and yourself are in a good stage now. Like, same with my mum and I. My mum was fucking hard. You know, I tell the story of her just, like, telling us to get in the car, me and my brother. My brother's quite a few years older than me. And you can tell if you saw him. But, you know, the army bus pulling up and my mum just grabbing his stuff, chucking into the bus, saying, get in the bus. Like, that was her, and he didn't know.
Yeah.
She just enrolled him in the army.
Yeah.
And, you know, she was hard. And we're in a great space now. But what some of her parenting style taught us was to get on with it. Oh,
Shut down.
Come on, man. You know, toughen up, you know, all that stuff.
Yep.
And like you said, 3 out of 4 men, 3 out of 4 suicides are men.
Yep. And we have so many older men from that generation that are all alcoholics, and they struggle with their mental health, and they're shut down. And alcoholism in New Zealand is a huge thing as well. And it's almost an insult to keep hearing, we got on with it, we did this.
Yes.
You're all struggling. You might not think you are, but we're a different generation of people coming through. We're pushing back against alcohol. We're talking about our feelings. We're going through things. My kids, as soon as they started high school, I was like, you've got a school counsellor, use it.
Yes.
Even if you don't think you need them, go there, book in,
Yep.
have a relationship. Like, obviously don't take the space from someone that really needs it. Use those resources all the time. You don't have to talk to me. There are other people there. Use those resources.
Yes.
And that's a new thing coming through. But it is. I find it really insulting when people are like, we just got on with it. Where are you now, Trevor? You're putting me down online and you're in my DMs.
And you hoard.
You're being mean.
You hoard Warriors jerseys. You know?
87.
Why do you need that many? Why? You've got some unmet trauma. Yeah, and you're right. The resourcing, and we've tried to challenge this because the resourcing for support for children is skewed on old data.
Yeah.
See, we're seeing kids who need help young because the research is showing postnatal depression, cortisol levels, they're including in the first 1,000 days.
But you can't
pregnancy.
get help.
Yes.
Okay, so this is where my battle is, because we have these children, they need support, everyone's coming in earlier, the government, everyone that works in mental health, and this is what I learned when I was studying, was we're like, fix the kids, because that's the nicest thing to say, right? You cannot get help as a mother, which has the flow-on effect to the child.
Yes.
If we were offering all of the support up here to the women and the adults, we probably wouldn't need to help as many kids down here. But all the resourcing goes to the kids, which it should. They do need the help. But I literally couldn't get any help. When I tell you I took my bags to the hospital with Shane and I was like, I've got dangerous thoughts, I literally got a letter from the mental health system saying they didn't have the resources for me, and good luck. And I'm still fighting to get help. I've only just now at 38 gotten a psych, and it's only because my work called the crisis team.
Yes. Yeah.
So how many of my kids are going to be affected by my postnatal depression?
Yes.
And now they are going to need the resources and support, whereas if someone had stepped in and helped me,
yes,
they might be fine.
And my mum, and this is where I really appreciate her bravery, like, because I was an afterthought, and you know, she told Courtney and I, she didn't want me.
Yeah,
she
my
literally.
mum's done the same thing. If she had her time again,
literally, my mum said it like that, which is a typical my mum thing, and you know, like, she doesn't drink pretty much nothing at all these days, but my mum coped through those windows, through drinking and through gambling and all that sort of stuff, when ultimately, because my mum and dad are divorced, and they were divorced kind of once all the kids left, they realised, and my dad got sick and he couldn't drink anymore, and they realised, okay, can't drink, kids aren't here, actually, we don't like each other. And they split up. And I've seen my mum in another light where I've actually just recognised she had a lot of unmet needs, mental needs.
Yep.
She was in a miserable marriage.
Yep.
Where they actually had nothing in common.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's the same with my parents.
And then because you just did it. You just hung on.
Yep.
Not that I'm encouraging people to split up, because I certainly think you can.
No, but
work.
you're better off in 2 happy homes
Yes.
rather than 1 unhappy home,
Yes.
right?
And I watched that happen, and then seeing my mum turn around and say, "Oh, I didn't want you. That was just what it was," and then I'd unpack my own kind of attachment issues, being dumped at different homes and things like that all the time. Yeah, it was really interesting to see the strength of a new generation of parent coming through that don't want to cause. I do think as a parent, we're just trying to figure out how can we minimise us fucking up our kids.
Yeah. I have performance reviews.
I cool.
Literally have performance reviews with the kids, and I've posted that online a few times where we sit down and I'm like, right, where are we at? Because I've said to them, I do not want you to get to an adult and say to me, if you'd done this, like this, and this, like, this is a safe space. Tell me now. What do you need from me? What am I doing? And they've said to me, like, I want you to listen more, like stop yelling so much. And it's like, cool, I'll take that on board, because I don't want them to have a childhood they have to recover from.
Yes.
And a lot of people have a childhood they have to recover from. And it is giving them the strength to go, and I've said, you're allowed to push back against me. You're allowed to tell me why you're upset. Because also we don't give the kids the opportunity. I hate more than anything because I'm your mother and I said so. That does my head in no end. We've silenced kids. They're not allowed to talk about their feelings. They can't fight back to how they feel. Then they go out into the workforce and we're like, stand up to your boss. Stand up to that person. Fight back. We've not taught them how.
Because as adults, but teachers do that to kids too, mate.
Yeah.
Like I've worked with teachers that, hey, I'm the teacher, you're the child. I know, hey, I've got this degree, I've got a degree, man. I've got a degree. Have you seen that? Have you seen this?
Mine's in my bottom drawer.
I've seen that, and it's been. I think when you've got kids, and when I worked in South Auckland, those kids were likely to tell you to get fucked.
Yeah.
Because they had enough from adults. Adults had let them down on so many occasions that finally they were like. But they couldn't say that to their parents.
No.
Because a teacher can't punch you in the face.
Yep.
But nor can their parents, but their parents would.
Yeah.
That's I've seen those conundrums in kids. And I ran into one of the kids that I taught actually at the airport. And this boy is like, not that he was going through that at a young age, but I remember giving him a voice. Being like, hey man, like if this isn't working, say something. And then I see him and he's studying computer sciences and doing all this stuff. And he's just like, gives me a big hug. And I sense the good that providing a platform for people to have two-way, not just be like, I'm the adult, shut up.
Yeah.
Or I'm the teacher, shut up. Or I'm the whatever, shut up. The benefits of it.
And that's where all the power is. Like if we can just openly and honestly say how we're feeling, go through that emotion and move on. Oh God, how good would life be? Yeah.
Yeah, it would. Yeah. I think I'm excited for the next generation. I do get excited by seeing. Yeah. I'm excited because I feel like there is a group of adults trying to actively condense down the damage of what they've could be causing or have been caused, without carrying too much victimology, because I don't think it's fair to compare traumas, but I know that majority of parents that I get to interact with really want the best for their kids. Yeah. And that means that doesn't, and I think they're recognising that doesn't mean I can buy more toys and get you Maccas when you want and take them on to Fiji to get your hair braided and things. Yeah. It actually is emotionally available.
That is actually a funny thing that I learned, because when I had my daughters, like I was a single mum for about 5 years, but I kept so much structure in that home, and I was quite strict on the girls, but I've had this balance of we talk, we have fun, we've got all these rules. And I remember my friends being like, you're so hard on them, and letting their kids just do whatever and getting all the things. My kids didn't have all the things. Now that they're all teenagers and everyone's like, oh my gosh, your girls are so, like, you've got such a good relationship and they're so well behaved. Yes, because you have to have that structure. They have to feel safe. They have to know what they're doing. And we've carried it on through the whole time. They don't demand anything. They know they have to work for things just like everyone else, but they also know that they can come and talk things out. We can talk about it. And one thing that has stayed in my mind forever was always hearing the I am your mother, not your friend, or I am your father, not your friend. And I think it is so super important to acknowledge that we can be both.
Yes, I'm with you. Of course I want to be best friends. Like, my boy, he is one of my best friends.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 16 years younger than me.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Right? Like, he was 21 before I was 40.
Yeah.
So we're you know, even the other day when I was excited in a conversation with him on the phone, I listened to myself saying bro to him, which I've never done, but I was just excited. Girls are
like bro.
Yeah. You know, we normally say boy. I don't know what was going on, but you're right. You can be both.
Yeah.
But you got to know when to switch into one mode or the other. And hopefully, as a great friend and a great father, I've got the same conditions to acceptance and boundaries around certain things. You know, if you're a great friend and your friend's being a dickhead, I hope you call them out.
I pull this with my daughter that's living at home with me, and she has started love bombing me for things. Right. And I've let her know that that is a toxic behaviour, and there are times where I go, not your friend today. You don't treat your friends that way.
Yes,
like you don't talk to your friends that way. So I'm in mum mode. And, you know, she'll usually come back and be like, "I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have done that," kind of thing. It's teaching, because relationships. At the end of the day, the whole world is about relationships. It's work relationships, friendship relationships, family relationships. So you've got to know how to work them to get the respect.
Well, I know this conversation could go on for a lot longer, but I've got Sam looking at me in a ways. But just shut up. We've been through a wild ride in 30 minutes of talking through some stuff, but no, we don't need an introduction. But
I'm Krystine. This is Ray. Up the wires.
Up the wires. But I want to thank you. I've been following along for a long time, obviously, and I've known Shane and obviously Sammy.
I remember video calling you. Shane going, Ray's just shared one of your videos, and you and Courtney been like, what the fuck?
Yes, we brought that up. We brought that up the other day. It was like, but I think you are doing the Lord's work in that sense, and we don't always have to agree with what goes online. I think I think as a nation, let's just if we don't agree with some stuff, that's okay. And if we agree with some,
people call me out. I've learned so much stuff. People have called me out, and I've listened. And there's been a number of times where I've gone out with a post and gone, I got that wrong.
Yeah.
Or I've actually since then I've learned this. Like it's not all right. It's not all wrong.
Yes.
Call it out.
So for those, I'm sure you're well known, but where do we find you online?
I'm actually not there that much anymore, but the dumbest name in the world, Real Life Wife. Had I known it was going to blow up, I would never ever have called my page that name. It used to be Real Life, Real Wife, and some young American dude messaged me and was like, "That's a hard say. Just make it Real Life Wife." And I did it. Bro. I did it.
And it turns out it was Logan Paul.
Yeah. Real Life Wife, Krystine Nation.
And you've got more stand-up stuff coming up, or when you...
So I finished my little mini tour last night, and Papa was the last night. I'm in Masterton next weekend.
Living the dream.
I'm probably going to end up with a Masterton tattoo. I told them that if we got 200 people at this show, I would get Masterton tattooed on me. We're at 182.
There you go.
182, and it's next weekend. So
the tattoo parlor down there, they get ready to get Masterton.
They're coming in.
And one of the old English fonts, like Bone Thugs.
Yeah. Yes! I'm going to get it on my butt.
Yeah.
So we're doing it there in the room. But yeah, that's my last one.
You have to show it getting done, because with AI, people won't trust that it's real.
They won't. Actually, I could do the whole thing with AI and pretend that it was real.
You could.
Give everyone their ticket back.
We appreciate your work, and we wish you luck in the. And isn't it cool to reconnect? You know, it's cool to have you in here. Yeah, always loved your stuff. It's hilarious. But
I find you hilarious also, and I cannot wait to see you on the stage.
yes, I know that's a call out.
I will coach you.
Yes. Yeah. But you just told me it's a scam.
No, paying for classes
right,
is
right,
a scam.
right.
But talking through the process, that's all we need to do.
I would really like to do it because I just find the art
Let's
of
do it. I'll message you. Let's get
Please
done.
message me.
Okay, this time next year, you are going to have done stand-up comedy.
I'm with you.
Even if I have to come back up, organise a show myself, and you jump on the lineup.
I'm with you.
Done.